Hello again. I guess somehow I stopped the video. So these are our goats. They like to come out when I'm in the garden and say hello. So this section over here is zucchini, and these don't seem to be doing too well either. We do have some that have come up. Like right here, there's 2 leaves, and we have some back over here, right where these poles are set up. And in through here was a different variety. We only have a couple that have actually sprouted up through. You can see those. So we'll see what happens. Just the weather has not been very conducive for gardens this year, at least in our area. And the one thing I am thankful for, though, is that this garden really does seem to have good drainage. So even though it has been wet, not much, there doesn't seem to be standing water anywhere, where I've heard some people complaining that their gardens are just sloppy mud. So we're going to come over here and we'll look back through this way. This is the corn section that I showed you earlier. And we have potatoes planted in here. We have all different kinds. We've got Green Mountain and Kennebec, some Yukon Gold and red. I don't remember the name of the red ones. But you can see that they are starting to sprout up. So this is a potato plant. If you look straight down through from post to post, we try to keep our lines pretty straight. And then when you see a post standing up, that's where we switch varieties. So they are coming along. We'll have to get in here and hill them soon. But not too bad. And right along this line here, if you can see me pulling it, we have some Swiss chard. We bought those as plants. Then we have some spinach that was planted out down there. And what else did we do? I guess maybe we did another package of Swiss chard as well, from seed. And this is my little bean spot. We have green beans, bush beans, and yellow bush beans. And there was some Blue Lake variety, and there was also another one that it starts out looking, according to the package, it looks kind of a maroonish purple color. And then when you cook it, it turns green, and supposedly they're really yummy. These 2 spots here are going to be my pole beans. And with the pole beans and also the cucumbers, we still need to put fencing up. Or, for the beans, I'll put some string and change out the poles. We just wanted to get everything sprouted, and then we were going to come back in and lay out the string and the fencing. These 3 smaller rows here, this one and that one, and then this one over here, these are all going to be dry beans. We have a Jacob's cattle bean planted, and a cranberry something, and then there was another variety called Tiger's Eye. So we're gonna try our hand at those. Those also, I believe that we are going to put up some sort of fencing and let the beans grow up those. And these are the tomatoes. And we need to get in here and stake them, because as you can see, they are tipping. Most of them are tipping right over. This spot, it's very beautiful, and we have good soil. We've been putting manure in it, but the wind just comes straight down through those fields and whips right across the garden. So they are really bent over, but you can see that they are starting to bud. So that is a really good sign. So we'll have lots of different tomatoes. We've got beefsteak tomatoes and some Roma tomatoes. 1, 2, 3, 4, I think 4 or 5 different varieties. And we have here is our broccoli section. Over here we have cauliflower, and there is a lot of cauliflower. I think I counted like 84 plants. That was a little bit of a mistake on our part. We miscounted and thought we needed more cauliflower, but what we needed was more broccoli. So now we have lots and lots of cauliflower. But that's good because I really, really like mashed cauliflower. You make it up just like you would mashed potato, and it tastes delicious, and my husband likes it too. And let's see, over here we have cabbage plants, and this line over here is eggplant. We've never done eggplant before, so we're gonna try our hand at that. And outside the fence here, we were running out of room in the garden, so we made this section into our pumpkin patch, and we've got some acorn squash, some winter squash, and also some honeydew and cantaloupe, which are not looking that good at the moment. Hopefully they will work, but if not, we'll try something else next year. But every place that you see a stake, that is where some pumpkins or squash have been planted. And we have it sectioned off with the electric fence, so the goats can't get in here and eat everything. And as they get bigger and spread, we can move the line easy enough and try to corral it a little bit. If you notice too, not everything has rope around it, or the twine. But last year when we did our garden, we ended up not having very much room to walk. And this year I decided I wanted to really know where each section was, to make it easier for weeding. And also, as the seeds had been planted, and then as they started to come up, it's hard for me as a beginner gardener, I'm not an expert by any means, it's hard to figure out what is a seedling and what is a weed. So I figured if we did strings for our rows and kept them on, at least until it was pretty obvious what was growing, that would really help. And also, even though we staked out the ends of our rows last year, as you go through planting your row, it can get a little bit wiggly. And I would say that our rows are pretty straight. If you can see the stuff that is coming up in this bed here, this is our beets. This right hand side here looks pretty good. These other two just does not look like there's much of anything, if anything at all, coming up. We did 3 different varieties, I think. There was a yellow beet, a red beet, and maybe a purple one. I guess I would have to go back and look at the packages. But it kind of looks like 2 out of the 3 really are not doing well at all. So I don't know if it's just the variety and the brand, or if it's just been the weather. But this, like I said, this other row looks pretty good. So back over here, we have some celery, and then we have pepper plants over here. And last year, our peppers didn't come up that well. They didn't get much bigger. I don't know, I would say like 2-3 inch bell peppers. They were very, very tiny. And someone had told me that their mom always planted their pepper plants really close together, and that seemed to do well. So we tried that this year, and if you look over here, we already have some peppers that are growing. The tag in front of it says Orange Blaze, but they almost look more like jalapenos to me, so I'm wondering if possibly the tag got mixed up, because this over here says La Bamba, and I do believe that was supposed to be a hot pepper. So I guess we'll just wait and see, let it grow a little bit more maybe, and then we can pick it and try it out. This section here is Brussels sprouts, and you will notice that some of the stuff has grown up more than others. Obviously the stuff that's grown up more we started as plants. The broccoli, cauliflower, the cabbage, eggplant, celery, peppers, and the Brussels sprouts we all did as plants. Oh, and the tomatoes. I had tried to do my own from seed, and they started out really well. I had grow lights. We put fertilizer on them. We had them in a nice heated spot, and it just did not happen. So, like I said, I am not an expert gardener, and I guess I'm just going to have to do more research, see if I can take a class or something, a gardening class of how to start your own seeds. But I did try, it just didn't work. So this section here is parsnips, and it doesn't really look like there's anything here. But if you look down, I do believe right here, and here, and here, all the way down through, those are parsnips that are starting to come up. This is one bed that I have not weeded yet. I'm just going to come out here and weed this corner of the garden. The parsnips take forever to germinate, and actually the package says that. It says it takes like 21 days for them to germinate, and I do believe it was pretty much 21 on the day, to the day, for them to start sprouting up. This here is radishes, lots and lots of radishes, and those are just a regular, the red skin with the white center. This is my turnip bed. We actually only have 3 rows planted, even though there's another 2 that I can plant. This left one and the one in the middle, those are, it's called like white egg or egg white turnip. And then this third row, the middle one, this is planted with gill feather turnip. And that's something that's real popular in southern Vermont. I had never heard of it. And they actually have a gill feather turnip festival in Wilmington, where my husband is from, or from that area. So that's pretty neat, and my mother-in-law found some gill feather seeds online, and we planted them, and we'll see how it goes. So this is looking back across the potato patch. You can see over this way that some of the sprouts are kind of spotty. Not everything has come up yet, but we're getting there. So I guess we'll have to wait to hill this section, because it seems a little bit silly to just hill, 1 or 2 plants at a time. And this section over here, you'll see a whole bunch of green string that's going back and forth. I think there was 15 rows, something like that. I went a little bit crazy, but they are carrots. The first 5 rows coming this way, they're all different varieties. We had some purple carrots and some yellow ones maybe, and a couple varieties of orange. And then I want to say it was row 6 through to the end over here. Those are all the same variety. They were Danvers. It was like Danvers 176 or something. It had a number at the end of it. And we will see how those go. And I'll bring it over here and look at our the yellow squash that we have over here on the outside of the garden. I'll pause it for just a second. So over here, this is where I have the yellow squash planted, and this is actually doing pretty good over here. You can see all of those little seedlings that have started. And again, everywhere that you see a stake, there is a section planted, and you can see right here we have slugs. Getting away from there. So like I said, I guess my homework is to figure out how to get rid of these slugs because they are just everywhere. Not only just here in the vegetable garden, but I've got them in my flower bed. And we have a couple different varieties of yellow squash planted up here. And we'll see how they do. I had come in and weeded the hills. I don't think I'll weed here, you know, kind of in the middle. I think it might get to be a little bit too much. I might bring the rototiller in and rototill that. Be a little bit easier. And I guess that's it for today. I'm gonna try and do videos, I don't know, every week, every couple weeks. And we will check out how our garden grows. And if anyone has any suggestions or comments or anything like that, feel free to drop us a line and say goodbye to the goats. I do want to do a video of the animals themselves, and one of these days I'll get around to that. So goodbye for now, and I will see and talk to everybody in another week or two.